How's it going, guys? So today, by popular demand, I'm going to teach everyone how to do the SpyderFlick. All right, you've seen it on social media, you've seen it in videos. People have been asking how to do this for a very long time. So today I'm going to break it down. It's actually pretty easy once you figure out how to do it. You do it once or twice. It's just, pretty natural to do that. However, it's something I don't really do. I happen to like using the thumb. But it is kind of impressive and fun, especially for someone who hasn't seen it before. So today I'm using a Spyderco Military. This is the titanium fluted variant on this knife. And we're going to be talking about the SpyderFlick. So what is a SpyderFlick? Well, we're basically using our middle finger, all right, on the back of the spider hole to flick it open. All right, it seems that easy, right? But I know a lot of people just get very frustrated trying to do this. In fact, when I first saw this many years ago, I had no idea what people were doing. They were just picking up their knives and just kind of flicking them open, and I'm like, what was that? Because I'm used to using the thumb. All right, I like using the thumb to flick open my knives regardless of whatever kind of style it may have, whether it's an opening hole or a thumb stud like this. You guys see that I've always used the thumb. But in using the middle finger, it's a little bit different. So here's what we do, okay? And this also works with different types of knives, which I'll talk about in a moment. But basically what we're doing is we're getting a good grip on this knife, all right? We're using the middle finger. Again, you can see it through the spider hole. Now, if you own Spydercos, you know that this hole has a fairly sharp edge, okay? It's not sharp like where it's gonna cut you, but it is very sharp. So what happens when people are doing this style of opening, they're using the back of their middle finger nail. So it grips the nail very easily, and then obviously by flicking your finger forward, it creates the momentum, which is going to swing that blade open and locked. But there are a couple little, I guess, tricks you'd say. If you just grab your knife and try this like this, which most people will do naturally, all right, just hold the knife like this and try to flick it out, it doesn't get out all the way. It doesn't have the momentum because of the angle that you're flicking, okay? You don't want to flick out this way. You want to flick as close as you can towards the pivot. This is the big tip or trick to get this down, because I see a lot of people try this and they're just on a different angle. So the further away you are from the pivot, so this is great, very easy to do. You try it like this, okay, it still works. Oh, it's getting hard, it's not working. That's because you're too far that way, all right? So don't flick that way, all right? You want to flick up as much as possible. So the grip is the biggest key to doing this successfully. You want this knife in a grip that's as close as possible so that your middle finger could, again, throw it that way towards the pivot, okay? And you have a very successful opening. So the best bit of advice or tip I can give for this particular opening method is to focus on your grip. Everyone knows, okay, or at least if you watch these over and over again, that people are using their middle finger to do it. But the reason people aren't being able to do it successfully is because they're holding the knife how they normally would with their thumb, okay? When you naturally pick up a knife, and use your thumb to open it, it's usually up here. It's right where your fingers meet your palm, okay? This is a bad position in order to do this particular move. You have to have it tucked up here, very high in the palm, close to the thumb, all right? The reason being, if you see people doing this, a lot of times their fingers are extended, their pointer finger, ring finger, and pinky, and that's because it's natural to kind of, flick your finger like this. So it's not natural to hold something and kind of just flick your middle finger. It doesn't work like that, okay? So you see people do this and their fingers are always extended. It's just a much more natural way to do that, okay? So having your fingers out like this, you have to remember you're only holding a knife. You're basically resting against your pointer finger here, but you're really only gripping it with your middle finger and your thumb, okay? So once your middle finger goes flying forward, now you're just holding it with your pointer finger and thumb. So if you've never done this before, you can definitely use two hands to start. All right, so keep that grip way up high here. Okay, so place the knife in your hand where you want it. Rest your thumb down onto the handle. Also rest the top of the handle against that pointer finger, because once you open this, this is the only grip you have. Okay, so keep that in mind. You have to keep this very snug against your palm using your thumb. Then go ahead and take your middle finger, put the nail through the hole, almost like you're trying to stick your finger through the hole. And your actual nail is what's grabbing the side of that metal. And then again, you can practice this if you don't already know how to flick with your middle finger, but just put it against your thumb. All right, you're building up pressure and then releasing. Building up pressure and releasing. That's all you're doing is flicking it out. So against the palm, thumb, pointer finger, get the middle finger there and flick out. That's all it is. The second it goes out, of course, you want to wrap it there to get a good grip so you don't lose it. You know, the first time you're trying this, it's going to be a little bit awkward and kind of weird, but I'm telling you, once you do it a couple dozen times, then it becomes natural. Now, even though this looks really cool, I generally don't do that. Generally speaking, I will use the back of my thumbnail to flick this open, just because that's how I'm naturally grabbing a knife. And I'm so used to doing that with all different types of knives. All right, in the case of this Kizer model, this has thumb studs. Now you can actually still do the SpyderFlick without a spider hole. It's literally the same thing, only the middle finger is going behind, the nail is going behind that thumb stud. This is a lot more difficult to do, but you can still do it. So with enough practice, you can do this with pretty much any knife. This is a cheaper Spyderco. This is the Spyderco Tenacious. This happens to have the green G10 scales, but same deal. All right, this is smaller than the military, so it's a little easier to do than that knife. Because it's smaller, you can really get in there tight and get a good grip on it. All right, but you could do this with any knife with the spider hole, but as demonstrated, you could do with other style of knives as well. I just still much prefer using the thumbnail on top of the blade, as opposed to trying to reposition my hand and use the middle finger. So if you've seen that before but didn't know what people were doing, well, now you do. It is pretty impressive looking. It's not terribly difficult. It's just like anything else, you have to practice it. So now I'm going to show you real quick the SpyderDrop. All right, so naturally when you take out the knife, it's in a position or grip to open it with the thumb. What you want to do is put your thumb over the opening hole, the spider hole, and then your middle finger behind it, and you're going to swing to basically use momentum to swing this upside down. All right, so in a regular position like this, we're going to swing it up, and then we're going to grab it. Now when I grabbed it, what I'm doing is putting pressure on my pointer finger against the side of the blade. If you just hold the hole, excuse me, there's nothing there. It's going to slide back out. All right, so when you come up, remember middle finger and thumb, you flip that up, use your side of your pointer finger to hold the blade so you're actually gripping the blade. Then we're going to flick downward. We're going to use gravity, because when we stop, the handle's not going to stop. It's going to continue open. So we're going to put it all together here, middle finger and thumb through that hole, flip it up, use the side of the pointer finger to grip the blade, flick down. All right, as you flick down and stop, the momentum will open that handle completely. Now from this position here, you can wrap your hands around, your pinky and ring finger around, all right, if you want to use the blade, you know, in a choked up position, or once you open it like this, a lot of times people will just literally throw it up and grab the handle, right? So you have a normal grip. Of course, if you're not comfortable doing that, you can just use two hands to, you know, get it into a grip position that you're comfortable to actually use it. So very, very simple, up, down, all right? So hopefully this video helped you. Just a quick how-to, because I know a lot of people see that on videos and it just, like I said, it looks super impressive and people don't know how to do it. Well, now you do. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.